Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the West Snowboard's Hache Plus, the big brother to the regular Hache. This board features good old school traditional camber. From contact point to contact point you have the arc of traditional camber. When you load it you get pop, snap, and rebound. If you don't know what traditional camber is by this point, there's no hope for you. This board is available in 152, 154, 156 wide, 158 wide, and 162. I rode this board at Loveland Ski Area in the preseason. It was a sunny bluebird day with cooler temps with a little bit of fresh snow on top. Underneath it was icy chundery or perfect corduroy, and I rode it with my Rome black label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board has your standard run-of-the-mill all-mountain freestyle middle-of-the-road flex. So you got more play in the tip, progressively stiffening back up through the inserts till you hit the center where it gets a little more torsionally soft. Overall, it's not the stiffest thing out there, it's not the softest thing out there, it's a little bit stiffer than its little brother model. When it comes to stability, it's moderately stable. You're going to notice that there's some chatter out in the nose that does reverberate back underfoot. When you get into rutted out terrain, it doesn't get totally bucked around, but you are going to feel it. So if you want to charge hard, just keep your knees bent and be prepared that you might get jolted from time to time. Being that this board has traditional camber, it does have pop to it. You have to load it up to get it to engage, and when you do, it rebounds and you snap. Is it the snappiest thing out there? No. Is it a slouch? No. It gets the job done and it's very predictable. As it was the preseason, I wasn't able to hit any jumps with it, but I wouldn't hesitate to hit anything with this board. It's got the snap you want, it's predictable, and if you know how to load up camber, you're not going to have a hard time popping with it. Small, medium, large, it'll probably handle them all, but like I said, I didn't get a chance to hit anything with it. So one thing that I noticed on this board is that the base actually isn't flat. There's a slight 3D shaping to it which bevels up the contact points. Every time I put a flat edge on it, I can notice it. It's about a 1 degree, so it's very minimal, but you do notice it when you press into it, which allows the board to swivel and sizzle because you do have those softer tips in there. With the camber profile, it fights you, so just be prepared that you're gonna have to muscle it around a little bit to get it to butter, but other than that, it'll get the job done. Now, unfortunately, there were no rails for me to hit with this thing, so I couldn't jib with it. I wouldn't hesitate to. Just know that you're gonna have to put a little bit more effort into presses on it, and it's probably not going to fully clap around a rail, but it's going to balance on top of it. I wish I could have hit some rails with this thing, but hey, it's preseason, these things happen. Finding out that the base was beveled on this thing explained why it just felt loose when I went to engage a carve out of the tips. It felt more like it steered right underfoot rather than out at the contact point. This made it relatively harder to engage. You just have to change the dynamic of when you're on edge. Yeah, it can carve and it'll lock in for the most part, but at times it wants to kick out. You lose a little bit of that grip. It's not one of those boards that's just full-blown hard charge, I can rip a carve. It's more like those mellow, swoopy carves or short, tight, quick turns. You know, it gets the job done, but it's not mind-blowing. So who's this board for? The all-mountain rider with an emphasis on freestyle. On paper, I should have absolutely loved this board. I should have been just the prime candidate to want to ride this board. With the practicality of riding it, it's looser than you would think. You lose that grip at the contact point, which almost makes it a little sketchy at high speeds when you're trying to turn around someone because you're trying to engage actually right outside the foot rather than out at the tip due to the traditional camber. And nowhere in their marketing does it actually mention that the base is beveled. So this one could be a fluke, but I have a feeling that it actually isn't. It's just something that happened at the factory and all their boards have it, and that's just kind of how it is. I was kind of mostly disappointed with this. I really think that I should have liked this, and I didn't. And it was upsetting. I do wish that I could have hit some jumps and gotten in the park, hit a few jibs with it, but preseason conditions, that happens. The other thing is that wood top sheet on there, depending on how tight you tighten the bindings down, you can get them to dig in. Not all of them. I'm just letting people know that if you have like a metal base or anything with an abrupt point, you can get it to dig in there. And that's pretty much what I found out for the Hache Plus. Comparable boards: the Rome National, the Yes Typo, the Capita Mercury. This has been my review of the West Hache Plus. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really want to support us, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.